Welcome to Deep Dive Daily.
Good morning. It's Friday. Happy Friday. Hopefully you have a wonderful weekend planned ahead of you. We'll get into our weekend plans later in the show, but let's talk a little market. Let's talk a little injury speculation. We have to make a couple of calls here, see if we can get ahead of the number on a couple of major sides. What's tickling you as you look across the board this week, Andy?
Obviously the biggest one is the speculation on Jaden Daniels. I think we'll get an answer, but I'm not. You know how I had like my speculation on will he be in, will he be out? I think there's like a second level. This is like Inception. This is a dream within a dream. There's also the percentage chance that they just don't tell us today, and they say, game time decision. And then you have to speculate on a speculation and just wait until 45 minutes before kickoff or 90 minutes before kickoff on Sunday, rather, to find out. And I think that's a 10 to 20% possibility that they just say, we don't know. Well, it might be Marcus. It might be Jaden. We don't know. We talked about where we think that would go. I think it could probably cross the 3, just because there has been, correct me if I'm wrong, there was some pushback on the Chargers market support last week. Like there are people that will bet the Raiders, and I think there are people that'll bet the Raiders even in a bad spot, as we mentioned on Wednesday and probably earlier in the week too. This is the Widowmaker. This is the short rest versus long rest. I kind of hope Daniels just plays. I don't have any skin in this one.
Okay. Good guess that if he does play, he's not 100%. So I doubt we get back to 6 if he's in. This probably moves to 4.5, 5.
Yeah.
4.5
is a fine number. 2.5, 4.5. Yeah.
I think you're also correct in that if it is the Mariota show, it probably crosses 3 and it's maybe a juicy 2.5. No action really for me in that game. Probably going to be sitting that one out. I had played 3, speculating that Daniels was going to be in, but I effectively bought out of it with 3.5. So I'm risk off in that contest. Speculation on who will start for the San Francisco 49ers. We have seen
there's no reason to take a guess here. I have thought about just betting the Niners because I kind of like them either way, considering the cluster injury and the fact that I can have a pretty fucking cheap 3. And despite it all, and despite, the shanty shit that we deal with every week, it looked like he put a pretty decent game plan for McCorkle back together. And it's a bad secondary. You're at home. I know we joked about this for years, but you should just always take the dogs in these NFC West games. Man, Niners offense might just work here.
The over is the hot side in that contest.
Yeah.
Up to 46.5 right now at circa. So I'm happy about that. I played some over at 44. So happy to see that it's at 46.5 now. My other total was over in Falcons Panthers. That is at 44. I got 43. So it's a tiny little bit of
I think it's
CLV
still playable.
Okay. Nothing else really cooking in the market. It's been a really slow week. This is now second week in a row. I feel like there just hasn't really been much enthusiasm for anything. Couple other injuries and news and info worth watching. Tampa Bay is
injured,
as hurt as any team I can remember on one side of the ball this early in the season. They're basically the entire offensive line is going to be playing out of position. We talked about this a little bit yesterday, but last year Graham Barton started 16 games for them at center. Now he's their left tackle. Ben Breedson started 16 or 17 games for them at left guard. He is now their center. And then everybody else is backfill, including guys who don't have numbers / practice squad players. If the Jets D-line can't make an impact on this game, then I guess blow it up. I got to say, I'm even more confused than I ever was about why in the world They brought in Steve Wilkes to run that defense. Aaron Glenn might not be the adult we thought he was. He might have just been a big swinging dick that doesn't know what he's doing. Because,
again, the same thing as last night. We got an 0-2 team. Kind of sees an opportunity here. Obviously, Miami didn't get it done last night, but they looked like an NFL football team at times, which was, a step forward for them. And this is an 0-2, Jets team that let one slip away in week 1. Obviously had an injury last week against a tough team. This is a winnable game, despite the, every game is winnable.
They no-showed last week. They
kind of did. And I mean, the quarterback thing stunk, and it stinks again this week, but at least they've had time to prep with them. This defense should eat a little. This total is probably, I don't want to bet this under right now, but this total might
4 points too high.
Yeah, this total might be too high just based on, still don't believe in what we're going to get out of this Jets offense with the backup, but at the same time, Tampa Bay has just been dying to turn the ball over. Baker's thrown 5 interceptions that weren't caught. And if Egbuka is out, that's a big blow because Godwin's still sitting. It really takes a starch out of what you can do on offense. And this is a decent defense, I think. So missing 3 offensive linemen and the reshuffling, this is a kind of parlaying it into what we're going to talk about in a second. This is an absolutely banger stay away for Survivor for me.
Okay.
As far as 6.5.
Yeah, absolutely. The most important thing to watch in this game, in my opinion, is Baker Mayfield's health. He definitely picked up an injury in that Texans game that they are not publicly commenting on. And if he's running around behind a beat up offensive line and gets crunched in this game and that injury gets exacerbated, then all of a sudden the NFC South is wide freaking open. I'm willing to listen to any and all arguments on any of the other 3 teams. The Saints feel like the only one you can truly put a line through for now because they are 7-point dogs this week and 12-point dogs next week. But yeah, I came close to clicking a big old bet on the Panthers. I gotta be embarrassed. I'm embarrassed to say this out loud, but I like the Panthers this week, at least as feisty. And if they beat the Falcons, then all of a sudden they become like the runner that could ship the South with 7 or 8 wins. So head on a swivel for Panthers NFC South, I guess. Do you have an opinion on this?
No, and at the end of the day, it might just turn out like Tampa Bay's fine and they win this game. Maybe not going away, but they find a way. But in the long run, like you said, there's a really decent chance that Baker takes a few hits on a couple of those scrambles. He definitely looked like he got banged up. They didn't do any imaging or any listing of injuries, really. He's just sore, banged up. We'll see how that goes. I know, the brinksmanship of that all, and sometimes they don't have to mention it. If he doesn't miss practice and he's not limited, they don't have to say anything. They're legally, they don't have to do anything. And there's ways to work your way around that. So it would be a bummer if I had to sit and watch Tyrod Taylor versus Teddy Bridgewater at any point on Sunday, though.
Throwback to 2015. Do you think those 2 players have ever played each other? Teddy Bridgewater and the Bills Teddy Bridgewater and the Lion. No, Teddy Bridgewater.
Vikings
Lions? Against Tyrod Taylor and the Bills.
Maybe.
I'm sure there has been one. Anyway.
Tyrod Taylor took the Bills to the damn playoffs, guys. Teddy Bridgewater's played playoff games, I'm sure.
Head on a swivel. Good morning to Corey Herbert. I gotta ask, if Corey's in here, you gotta tell me where you grew up, and because I knew a Corey Herbert growing up, and if it's the same guy, my head would explode. What is your guys' fare for Denver LAC? Do you really have them at the same number? I don't. I think LAC should be 3-point favorites here. I'm surprised there's as much enthusiasm for Denver as there is, especially with Pat Surtain being a little bit limited last week with the injury he picked up in game. What are your thoughts?
I'm about to sit down after this and do my look ahead stuff. I haven't bet any look aheads this year. I don't know if
this is this week.
I know, but I'm when I do that, I do slight modifications to the power numbers. I haven't touched him for 2 days. So right now, where are we at? for LAC. Let's just go division only. Yeah, this is, and like we said, this is the game I'm going to watch. So Denver is a 0.8, and the Chargers are a 2.26 for me. So I'm, comfortably a 1.5 better on the Chargers right now. They've looked like a grown-up team that could win a playoff game. So with home field, yeah, I'm pretty much on market. My home field for a game like this is still less than 2. I don't know what are you using. What are you using for home field here?
The circuit contest number is 2.5, by the way. So you're getting a flat 2.5. I'm probably gonna end up using them then because I'm at 3.5. My home field for Chargers is 1 in this game. Basically, I do it by percentage on win prob and then convert through, and I'm at 3%. As opposed to many other teams where I'm closer to 7.
I use somebody else's shit in mine. It's not the end all be all, but I think it's NFL Elo that puts out a rolling home field advantage for everybody, and I incorporate that a little because I like to have differences between the teams based on how they've played at home, but their stuff is a little off where I want to be.
Okay. 2 other general thoughts here. 2 player props that I feel like are interesting. One of them is in that game, which is why I want to mention it. If you're a longtime listener to the show or participant in the Deep Dive Discord, you may already know this, but the Chargers defense, the style of defense that they play, which is so disciplined in the secondary especially, has a consequence where it opens up running lanes for the quarterback. And so if they're up against a quarterback who has wheels, a lot of times there is opportunity for those quarterbacks to do some damage on the ground. We saw Pat Mahomes do it week 1. And Bo Nix as a rushing prop this week is worth looking at. Do you have an opinion?
I don't mind it, but
he's one of the fastest players in the league.
He is fast. Jesus Christ, that was my thing last year. I don't know. I'd have to see what his number is. Obviously, everything's price dependent, but yeah, I understand that, and they're allowed to play how they play because they have such a good safety. Having that anchor in the middle that allows you to put some guys on an island a little and expect to get the help faster than you would get it with a guy who doesn't know what he's doing back there. It's been a good defense so far. And God, yeah, if they run into, we all say this with Josh Allen too. If they run into the spot where they're desperate, they need points late, they're behind, it just lends itself to a running back, a quarterback taking off a little more, knowing I got to get this. I can't throw a 50-50 ball here. We need a first down.
Sure does. So yeah, Bo Nix rushing yards, circle it. The other one, this is from my friend Jay over at NBC. Man rate for the Eagles when they play the Rams is high for some reason. The man target in that offense now is Devontae Adams. So prepare yourself for a Devontae Adams game in Philadelphia, as opposed to a more even split between Adams and Puka. Adams' target share against man is 48 or something insane like that. I don't know how that, that seems crazy to me, but it's a very kind of fun angle into that one, looking for Devontae Adams to be sort of the key focus of that offense. And again, the potential that they're playing from behind in that one and have to throw it.
I would never push back on betting on Devontae Adams to have a bunch of catches because it just seems like that. But man, I've seen a couple of these angles and I don't love it when it's against a smart defensive coordinator, because here's the thing. If you and Jay and we are talking about this, I'm sure, I feel like a guy like Fangio knows it as well. Because somebody had an angle like this with, and I don't want to throw them under the bus because I just remembered who it was. Somebody had an angle like this with the Seattle receivers too. And it just was trash that day, where sometimes a good coordinator just is able to work their way around it.
Sees it
So,
coming.
but I'm saying, like, don't go betting the under, because at the same time that would be the button I push. Look what CeeDee Lamb, look what CeeDee Lamb did against that team. And if you have a guy who can just absolutely dominate somebody in man, I would just spam that button as well. So maybe that's something I'll be watching for live in that one to get on.
I like it. Bo Nix, by the way, his total is 21.5. He's averaging 19 a game. Devontae Adams' total is, let's see, receiving porps. Devontae Adams is at
I'd play catches. I'd play catches
60,
over yards, I think.
60.5. You like Rex over yards?
Yeah.
5.5. Over 5.5 is plus 105. 6 catches for Devontae.
Yeah. I mean, even if they're bracketing him and he's having to come back for balls, and maybe it doesn't end up being a huge yardage day, they're gonna have to be finding somebody. And you have two really dangerous weapons there. They're going to have to kind of decide who's on who, and are you going to have a guy following Devontae? Are you going to keep your corners where they play their best? We'll see.
All right. That's about all I got for football. You got any other final thoughts? Oh yeah.
Haven't really added anything.
Actually, two other major things. Do you think Kraft goes for the Green Bay Packers?
I do not. I don't think it's long-term. I don't think it's going to be.
That affects our survivors discussion then.
I know. I think it's unlikely he goes, which stinks because, they're down 2 starting wide receivers already at this point.
They are, yeah.
We'll find out a little more, and we have time to get their central time. So it won't be too long till we get injury reports from the beat reporters in the Appleton area. But it does affect our survivor stuff because he was a big part of that offense last week. If he doesn't go, obviously they're a slight downgrade in survivor. I don't think he misses more than 1 week though, which doesn't really matter for survivor right now. It seems like it's short term. Okay. And here's the other thing from Siegloff. It's you have another tight end behind him that's pretty good too in Musgrave.
Yep. But you're running out. You're running out of warm bodies, which I don't love. One of a very sharp listener who DMs me from time to time, and after we talked about Offensive Player of the Year on the awards discussion last week, was like, gotta give Jonathan Taylor a look at 40-1. That shortened to 10-1. And I was like, God, what a call. What a shout. He got up and said, what do you think of Matthew Golden at 50-1, considering like the seas are just opening for him here.
Look at what happened on Thursday. They drew up some shots for him.
Yeah.
They drew up that one shot up the middle. And I think you see this with rookies, especially somebody that they want to incorporate, and now they have to. It's just it's not going to get less because of, unless he's a problem or he's playing poorly, it feels like he's going to become more and more of the offense where I think there's a non-zero shot, even with Watson back at some point, there's a non-zero chance that he's the number 1 wide receiver on that team at the end of the year. Like that's just there's a thing that could happen, which
there's a non-zero chance he's the number 1 wide receiver on Monday.
Yeah. That's fun. That's worth playing.
Yeah, 50-1 is a bomb.
Add to my dart position.
Yeah, there you go. All right, the ongoing saga of Andrew Thomas. Do you think he plays Sunday night?
Don't know. I'm really up in the. I'm 50-50
don't know.
On that. No, it sounds like
I haven't heard anything a peep about him this week. The last couple of weeks they were kind of teasing that we got a plan. It's getting closer, and then this week it's just been what's the plan, guys? What's happening? I got nothing.
It's trending. So I'm like, I don't want to say 70-30. I'm going to go 65-35 that he plays. It's been encouraging this week. A little more encouraging, and obviously it's encouraging for my dart bet too, because I don't think they'll play him until we end up in It's a big fat dude on a Liz Frank injury. It takes some time to get your feet back under you.
Okay.
Not that he's fat, he's just a huge dude.
Well, James Hudson
is not as good.
He finally got the hook in game against the Cowboys, and his replacement, be it a replacement, was much better than him. So it's not going to matter as much. Yeah, that's right. The James Hudson tape so far this year, he's been the worst player in football. Period, in my opinion. I don't know that there's anyone that's even close. Anyway, there's probably someone that's
the
close that I
best
just not
clip.
paying attention to. But
he said the best clip of the year, though. Just the absolute. I used to go drinking. Actually, they're both in my fantasy league. I used to go drinking with these two brothers. One was in my grade. One was 5 years older. And they still get after it, but the younger one would get real drunk, and then he'd antagonize the older one, even when they're out having fun. And one time he said, "Watch this. I'm gonna go spit slap him." And he spit on his hand and walked over him on the dance floor, just slapped him. And then he just walks away and giggles because he knows his brother won't beat him up. Like, he'll be mad, but they won't fight at the bar. They don't want to get kicked out. And that's all I've thought about for like 5 days since that clip. It's so disrespectful to slap a person.
Oh, it's brutal.
Way worse than punching.
Way worse. The open hand slap. Yeah. Okay. So
spit on it.
I spit on it is even funnier. Because then you get the real smackola. All right.
Jeff says Thomas is in. I'm upgrading to 70 then.
Okay. Do you got anything on Monday? The Ravens host the Detroit Lions, memorable rematch of the 52-6 game from 2 years ago, where the full-strength Lions went into Baltimore and just got absolutely railroaded. The market is on the dog here. It's come in from 6 to 4.5. We finally found the top. It's 53. I don't really have anything.
I don't know. I don't have a strong play on this. You got 2 data points on the Baltimore defense. They looked okay-ish until Josh Allen went Super Saiyan at the end. And then you have last week where, was that an NFL team they played? At times in that game, it looked like it was a lot of grab ass and fucking around because the game was a little out of hand at some points, even when it was close. So I don't know how I feel about the Baltimore defense. I don't think I have a strong enough grasp on how they're playing this year with some of the dinged up pieces in the secondary to really judge how much Detroit will get done on the road here. At the same time, the Detroit defense, kind of the same thing. Like, we saw what Chicago was against Minnesota outside of that scripted drive. Like, is that defense good because it's healthy now, or did they just play the Bears last week? And then, the late game stuff where the game was clearly out of hand, that wasn't indicative of what you're going to get from a Detroit defense.
Correction.
That said,
yeah, good.
That said, the Baltimore offense is better than the Bears offense. I have that on paper, and I'll sign my name to that.
It's a strong take. Corrections and retractions, as the Fonz notes, that Ravens game was 38-6. It just felt like 52-6. 52-6 was what the Lions did to the Jaguars last year. So that was why I had 52-6 in my head.
Texans score that had a 2. What was that? It was like 41-2.
Oh no,
that was the funniest one.
34-2.
31-2.
It was 31-2. 31-2. Okay. Yeah, that was a non-compete. I think I had the Lions that day. All right. Well.
Yeah, and I understand that. I understand wanting to take the dog there. It's a lot of points for a team that looked like they were kind of on track again offensively last week, but against a really dog shit secondary in Chicago. So kind of split the difference there and think they can keep it close or backdoor it. But at the same time, the over's getting bet. Like we said, not anymore, but it ticked up to 53.
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk Survivor and make our 3 choices here. I think we already settled on Seattle for the chalk choice. The question I have now is, do we go Seattle across the board, or do we try to keep with our strategy of three different choices because we can. I think if we do three choices, choice 2 is Green Bay.
Yeah, a road team for the.
Yeah,
not the end of the world, but taking a road team isn't as great. It's not a divisional game. It's a road team against Cleveland team that might end up switching quarterbacks again at some point. It stinks about Kraft, but yeah, that's my second choice. Of the other big favorites, like I mentioned, Tampa's a cross off for me.
Cross off.
Atlanta,
I think Kansas City, you got a cross off too.
Yeah, Kansas City's a cross off. Atlanta's a tough one to say go on a divisional road game as well. I'm kind of making the case that we have 3 entries in the big boy one, and I'm making the case that 2 of them should be Seattle or 2 of them should be Green Bay. We go full Fail Mary. It is Green Bay and Seattle this week.
All right, let's go Seattle, Green Bay, Seattle.
Okay.
I like that plan.
And then what did we match on for millions? Was there a lot that we honestly liked?
Don't know. I don't know what we're going to end up on there.
Probably Cincinnati. Probably the Chargers.
Probably.
So if anybody doesn't know how we do this too, so we rank every game. Here's the side we like, and like a confidence pool, but just in a text we send to each other, and then we kind of see where we match up and decide on 5 that we want to go with for our combined entry, which went 4-1 last week. No big deal. And then we play our own entries as well, which we were going to have a competition on that. Now I feel bad because I'm leading you by a game or 2, and like, hey, we should have a competition now that I'm up.
No. We are absolutely. There's for sure Neil in Vegas next year on the
Neil in Vegas, I think
for sure. For sure.
Now that I'm finding out that the Chicago Bavets is supposed to be like way better,
yeah,
I want to go to that
Chicago.
one.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody has any other sneaky shorter favorites in
talking
Survivor.
Like really good food yesterday was making me want to go do some really good dining.
It is my daughter's birthday, so she gets to choose the restaurant, and she likes I wouldn't say high end. There's no such thing as a high end sushi place in Minnesota, but she likes sushi quite a bit. And the only thing I hate is they used to have these big boats, like the actual model boats, where there's the deck and you have all the different areas, and there'd be sashimi, and you'd have they don't have the boats anymore. They kind of bring them out more like a seafood tower. I miss the boats, but it's still a very good sushi place. Anyone who lives in Minnesota, there's a couple of these. It's Crave up in Minneapolis. Decent sushi. So I think we're going to go get some tonight.
Hell yeah.
And for dessert, it's not an actual road flare, but it just seems like it. They do the thing with the huge sparkler in the ice cream that turns your head when you're in the restaurant because it is too bright. Colts might be sneaky.
I think that's a reasonable call. Right now, the projected usage for Colts is like a little under 5%. I could see that.
If you wanted to be the guys who just fade the dog shit teams, the Colts are definitely in the mix for you. What was the other one? The other one I looked at.
I forget if there was some future value for the Colts. That was why I was a little cool on using them.
You know what? The other one I looked at for a second,
honestly,
and I can't.
I need the Colts week 8 when they host Tennessee. Sorry, go ahead, man.
So, in my entries, I was in the big splash one, the $500,000. I did 5 entries into that, and I went Denver, I went Baltimore across the board. So now this week I am going to mix it up, and I will use Dallas in one. Just based on, I looked at the holiday games, and I'm not enamored with that. So I'm going to use Dallas in one. I'm probably going to use, I may use the Colts in one. It'll probably be Dallas, Colts, Seattle, Green Bay, and then one more. I'm going to go 5 ways.
As we look across the rest of the season, Andy, Dallas projected to be no more than a 2.5 point favorite in any game this year.
That's where I'm kind of fine using. I love them so much here. I'm fine putting them on the table and using them.
So they have virtually no future value outside of just being on the 2 holiday game weekends.
Yeah, the future value is there's a chip chance in a chair that one of the teams they play on a holiday game has a quarterback break a leg between now and then. Like that's how you get future value out of Dallas.
Yeah, because the Christmas game is the Commanders. And
well,
I mean,
their quarterbacks never got hurt.
He never. Yeah, he avoids physicality and no, Oppo. He is a gravity for getting hit. Yeah, Colts do have some future value. Week 8, they host Tennessee.
I love Olive Garden, man.
When they host Tennessee Week 8, they're going to be like 7-point favorites probably, unless Tennessee's good. Then we'll see. But yeah, no, you best laid plans. Like we used Baltimore last week, and now Baltimore gets Jake Browning on Thanksgiving. Like, oops.
Doesn't that feel like a game? That feels like a game Baltimore loses. I'm planting my flag right now.
All right, so you're gonna have sushi.
Oh god, that would be. They have an extensive wine list here, and it's not Monday, which would have been great because they have half price bottles on Monday, which is just an electric deal. Because I think it's half price bottles up to 100, which you can get a pretty nice bottle for, you go get an $80 bottle for $40. It's pretty, makes a boy happy. Obviously my 14-year-old won't be imbibing, but
when you go to sushi, do you imbibe in the rice wine?
I don't. I'm not a big rice one. I don't even like rice beer. I feel like it gives me a little bit of a headache.
Okay. So the best red wine for sushi, in my opinion, you want something that's plum, prune, tobacco kind of flavor profile. To me, at least, goes best with that, and that is usually Merlot, Malbec, Syrah is kind of what I would gravitate towards. So look out for those. I'm going to be having a Malbec from France this week that I will recommend to folks. This was actually a great find from my French wine proprietor, Kermit Lynch, up in Berkeley. But the region of France that has the best Malbec, hands down, is Cahors, Cahors. Malbec from Cahors. And the one that I am excited about, I'm looking at the name right now. We talked about Cahors. I mean, we talked about Malbec from Argentina earlier, and wine of the week from, I don't know, maybe May. But Malbec is originally one of the noble grapes from France, generally kind of grown in the Atlantic region. Obviously, in the Bordeaux region, it's a Bordeaux blending grape. But Cahors is kind of the standout single varietal Malbec in France, in my opinion, and you can get an $18 bottle called Clos La Coutelle. Clos La Coutelle.
Clos has an S on it?
Clos has an S on it. CLOS. Okay. La Coutelle. $18 bottle. This thing is one of the better value reds from France that I've ever had. If you had blindfolded me and poured me a glass, and number one, I don't know that I would have said it was a Malbec. I would have thought it was a Bordeaux, a blend. It was that well-rounded. And number two, I would have said, no, this is a $30 bottle easily. It is 18. And if you are in the wine club at Kermit Lynch, it's cheaper. So I got a decent chunk of that now, which I'm very excited about. So I'm gonna open one of those tonight, and that would go with sushi because it is, in my opinion, at least, it's plum. It has some tobacco. It's a nice one.
It looks like I pulled up their wine list right now. Both Malbecs are Argentinian, at least by bottle. They do have a section called Interesting Whites, which is fun. The internet loves a sign like that. They have a Red Schooner by Camus. Is that how you say it? Camus? Like the author?
Yeah. I
know he doesn't have a Y in it. A Renato Ratti Barbara d'Asti. That's Italian, obviously, guys.
I don't know. It's Camus, man. Come on.
Camus? I don't know.
You know this. It's Camus. Come on, you knew that.
All I know is of the author.
I don't know anything about Red Schooner. I've never heard of Red Schooner. That
Red
sounds
Schooner
like they're
sounds
trying to
made up.
it sounds like no, it sounds like they're trying to
So this is under the Worldly Reds. And then we have one Spanish wine, which I probably won't get. A Marquis de Caceres Cristiana, which is just a Rioja. No thanks. I'll probably check out one of these Malbecs. I'll enjoy some. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to get. Nigiri. Bunch of nigiri. Honestly, we're just going to get one. My son will get like a fucking hamburger platter for kids because he won't eat sushi. And then the three of us are going to get one of the big ass things where they just bring you $100 worth of sushi on a big, huge tower thing and a bottle of wine. The order is very easy. And then the free ice cream.
Yeah.
Boom. Figured out.
There's a lot of people who would recommend a white with sushi, an interesting white with sushi. I don't think so. I don't think it complements this because and maybe it's just me, but like I use a lot of wasabi and soy sauce, and I just feel like you're gonna completely overwhelm whatever's there.
So here is the thing. There is a white Malbec on the menu.
That's weird.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be fruity. I don't want that. I changed my mind. I think it's gonna be very
that's
fruity.
A weird
that's
one.
not what I'm looking for.
It's
Argentinian. There's a Riesling from Oregon. There's an Albarino. I could consider that, but we'll see what the wife wants. Honestly, it's not up to me. It is up to the missus.
These are all traditional recommended with sushi wines, but I will disagree. I like specifically something that has like a plum flavor personally.
It's subjective. Also, I saw some asshole grill up some steaks the other day on the timeline, and then he posted a picture of these steaks, and in the picture was a big bottle of ketchup. Big bottle of ketchup. he admitted, he said, "No, I'm not going to put it on my steaks, but I am going to dip it in the ketchup," that feels weird. But at the same time, I've always been, not to get political, but I've always been very libertarian about food and drink. If you want to absolutely char a steak until it's well done and that's what you taste good to you, I can't argue with you. Taste is subjective. Also, which is fun because everyone knows the saying, the customer is right. The customer's always right. It's not the whole saying. It used to be the customer's always right in matters of taste. The customer's not always right. Some of you guys are just assholes. Be nice to service industry people. Now I feel like I have to tip bigger. Should we call it a week and then
let's do it, man.
Get on to the weekend? Yeah, I got work to do because I have birthday celebrations tonight. Let's go Survivor. Hopefully we get all three through again, and another 4-1 week, maybe a 5-0 week. You know what? A 5-0 week's happening. Not only am I going to take our 5 picks from our combined entry and parlay them, I'm going to parlay mine as well. And then it won't be a 10 leg because it'll be overlap. Maybe a third parlay. I think we're going to do it. Double Carly.
Carly looking at your card. That's 5-0.
Oh, she's like, I like this.
What do you think of the double necklace she's got? She's rocking.
Do you see this chain?
That's a diamond Cuban link, and then separately the cross.
Can you imagine what that huge ass diamond necklace cost?
I'm gonna say something like $250K probably.
I bet it has 1,000 stones in it because it's just a shitload of small stones. Plus whatever it is, platinum, white gold. Like, yeah, that's a $250,000 necklace she's just rocking with a $40 Old Navy top. Love her. She is our queen. Wouldn't hurt me at all if they made the playoffs.
No, not at all.
All right, good luck with all your bets this week. If you have anything else, you know where to find us. We're on Twitter. We're in the Discord, YouTube, whatever. Make it happen.